Well, hello, everyone. Lesson 249. Yeah, let's jump right into it. Forgiveness ends all suffering and loss. All. The emphasis is mine on the all. Yeah. The idea for the day, forgiveness ends all suffering and loss. So, where we find ourselves in this world where we believe wholeheartedly, conclusively, that we're separate beings running around having a separate experience, interacting with other separate beings, sometimes coming together, having a hot, juicy sex one time, and then having a knockdown, drag out fight the next minute, opposed to each other 1 minute, allies the next, that back and forth, back and forth. Are you tired of that? I mean, really, when you assess life, are you tired of that roller coaster, of that yo-yo? And it's part of you that has to be, or you wouldn't be here. Because there's plenty of that yo-yo available on YouTube, isn't there? Right? On TV, on people's social media accounts, all kinds of stuff, right? So we're focusing today on the practice of forgiveness. And what I want to say here is that it's so central to A Course in Miracles because the idea of A Course in Miracles, as well as spiritual practice in general, is that, well, God is an idea and we're an idea. The thought of God, the Son of God, God's creation, the extension of. Yeah. So the notion behind forgiveness is helping us to see. It's seeing things as the Holy Spirit sees them, or as Jesus sees them, or your guide or guides see them. It's who we are. It's helping us to see things, ourselves, everything, as it is. It's helping us to see things exactly as they were created. It is still, of course, perception, but it is the only perception that leads toward the truth rather than away from it. The idea is forgiveness, when thoroughly practiced, when complete and total, leads us to see what the Course refers to as the real world. That's just a term, by the way. It's perception, totally clarified, if you prefer purified, or if you prefer the term right perception. It's seeing the world not as a conglomeration of opposites doing battle with each other, but seeing the oneness of the Son of God, seeing the world and experiencing it as well as a place of beauty and limitlessness, joy, love, understanding. It's who we really are. And from there, that is, according to the Course here, so like to heaven that God takes the final step easily and quickly himself. That's the Course's description of awakening. Forgiveness speeds us up on the process. Think about instances in your own experience where you have forgiven someone or a group of people, or here's a good one, yourself, right? And how did you feel after that? This is great self-examination for all of us. How did you feel after having forgiven? after having let go of whatever baggage, whatever dirt you were holding on to, did you feel lighter? Did you feel a sense of relief, maybe? And did you feel more loving, more flexible? Did you laugh more? It's worth thinking of an instance where you did forgive. And as I often say, nobody can expect you to just up and blanket forgive every single thing, every single one, every single person who may have harmed you, some quite acutely in this lifetime. If you find yourself unable to forgive a past abusive partner, for example, if you're not able to do that today, start with what you can forgive. Remember that there is no order of difficulties in miracles. Forgiveness is a miracle. It is a miraculous thought. It's a miraculous action, which is why it's so central to A Course in Miracles. It is the way that we see things as they are. Now, there are many, many really excellent resources out there that are designed to supplement A Course in Miracles, not to replace it, but they are other people's commentary on this course. And one of them in particular you may be familiar with is the book called The Disappearance of the Universe by Gary Renard. I highly recommend this one. I've read it several times, and it's not unlike the course itself in that every time I go through it, I notice something different that I can apply to my life. Why? Because I'm different than I was the last time I picked it up. Same with your favorite novel, right? Same with your favorite movie. You notice different things every single time through. And The Disappearance of the Universe is great because it spends a significant amount of time on why forgiveness is so important. And it also talks about an attitude of forgiveness. So where I'm going with this is that there is no set verbiage. There's no prescriptive formula for precisely what to say. Rather, there's an attitude. And a suggestion is the summary of A Course in Miracles can serve as that attitude. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. That, if you so prefer, can serve as your forgiveness attitude. Also, there are components that I always include that are important. And I got a lot of these ideas directly from the book, The Disappearance of the Universe. Now, Gary Renard was visited by two ascended masters, Arten and Persa, and it doesn't make any difference whether you believe this is possible or not. If you're really interested in this course and in a very, very interesting and unique personal experience, in other words, Gary's, with this material, then I invite you to pick this book up. And whether you believe that visits from ascended masters or angels are possible or not, some of you watching this do, you have them, some don't, and it doesn't make any difference. I invite you to read it as you would a story. I mean, we know when we pick up a novel, it's not true, right? It's fiction. However, we immerse ourselves in it nonetheless. When we watch a movie, it's something someone made up, isn't it? Yet we immerse ourselves in it nonetheless. The term of art, suspending our disbelief. I invite you to do that. So it doesn't matter if you believe that these events actually took place or not. You'll quickly discover the inspiration, inspiration, spirit, yes. Think about the root of that word, yeah, and what it means, really. So food for thought. Back to the attitude of forgiveness. One thing that I always do is I make sure, super sure, that if I'm forgiving someone by name, I do that, or a group of people, or something in general, like the ego, like all people, no exceptions, including the most violent dictators in the history of humankind, including people that have wronged me deeply, in fact, in this lifetime. Check out yesterday's video. I talk at length about my own process of forgiving my extraordinarily violent alcoholic mother. Got one of those? Right? Some of you do, yeah. Yeah, I refer you to that. That's the video in lesson 248. Yeah, give that one a look-see. And I hope that may inspire you to both forgive and set some healthy boundaries at the same time, because it's entirely possible. So with the attitude of forgiveness, I always make sure that I acknowledge that this is a dream, and I forgive myself for dreaming it. I release everything that I'm forgiving and everyone to the Holy Spirit. This is a forgiveness and release practice. I make sure that those components are included, and I don't have an exact set of verbiage every time. I don't say exactly the same things. It's more about an attitude that I'm bringing to the table, so to speak. And always make sure that you acknowledge that this is a dream, an illusion, and forgive yourself, because as the Course says, and Disappearance of the Universe says, there is no one out there. It's another fancy way. In fact, it's a more succinct way of saying there is no separation of any kind. Therefore, when we forgive another person, we forgive ourselves. When we forgive ourselves, we forgive everyone else. See, the two are completely the same. Why? There's no separation. So forgiveness is the way that we go about ending all suffering and loss. So I invite you to practice this as often as you remember to do it today. All right, guys. Thank you very much, as always, for joining me here.